Imagine this, you've got a coworker who's got a habit of borrowing your stuff. She thinks it's no big deal, but she never returns what she takes. Now imagine that this borrower has her eyes on something you hold near and dear, a limited edition golden glitter. Something rare and special that you've been saving for just the right project. But one day, it's gone, just like that. And all she's left you is a sticky note that says, "Don't worry, you have plenty." Well, that was enough to send me over the edge. But my glitter kingdom has recently come under threat, thanks to a coworker named Amber Cho. Now, Amber is one of those people who looks polished and put together at all times, always flaunting her designer clothes and her latest luxury purchases. She's popular, stylish, and kind of entitled. She's the kind of person who always seems to be doing things her way, without much consideration for others. And she has this terrible habit of borrowing things from others and just not returning them. For months, I'd watched her help herself to my craft supplies. First, it was the markers. Then, it was a set of fine-tip brushes that I could never find again. She would leave me a hasty note here or there, "Borrowed some markers. Thanks." Or "I needed a brush. Hope you don't mind." It irked me, but I tried to let it go. After all, maybe she just didn't realize how much it annoyed me, but after the 10th time, it was hard to keep giving her the benefit of the doubt. Then came the day that tipped me over the edge. I had a limited edition jar of golden glitter, something I had gone out of my way to find at this little craft shop that's out of town. It was beautiful, a shimmering, sparkling gold that was perfect for the upcoming art showcase. I'd been saving it for a project with my students, something that would really make their work stand out, and then, it was gone. I remember the feeling as I reached for the glitter jar and found it empty. My heart stopped. My stomach dropped. There, inside the cabinet, where my glitter should have been, was just an empty jar with a sticky note slapped onto it, and in Amber's familiar, loopy handwriting. The note read, "Don't worry, you have plenty." Plenty? Oh, Amber, that was the final straw. As I stood there holding that empty jar, I felt a wave of irritation like never before. My pulse was racing, my cheeks were flushed, and my mind was already running a mile a minute. I tried to tell myself it was just glitter, that it wasn't worth getting worked up over, but I couldn't let it go. All those months of watching her help herself to my things, treating my supplies like her personal art store, dismissing my polite requests for her to ask first, well, it was time to teach Amber a little lesson in boundaries. But I wasn't going to do it the obvious way. No, I was going to get creative. After all, I am an art teacher. I went home that night, pulled out my craft supplies, and brainstormed. How could I make this revenge as satisfying and long-lasting as possible? And then it hit me. I was going to make her sparkle, permanently. Now, anyone who's ever used glitter knows that once it's on you, it's nearly impossible to get rid of. It sticks to your skin, your clothes, and your hair. You find it for days, even weeks afterward. Glitter is the gift that keeps on giving, and that's exactly what I was planning for Amber. The first part of my plan involved Amber's prized possession, her designer cardigan. Amber wore this thing religiously. It was a creamy, soft, cashmere blend, with delicate stitching around the cuffs. She treated it like a trophy, always draping it over her chair in the faculty lounge. Everyone knew it was hers, and she knew it looked good on her. But that cardigan was about to get a makeover. The next morning, I arrived at school bright and early with a glue gun and a selection of my finest glitter, reds, greens, blues, silvers, and, of course, my beloved gold. I slipped into the faculty lounge, where Amber's cardigan was predictably hanging on the chair. I had a few minutes to myself, so I got to work. With precise, intricate lines, I started creating patterns with the glue along the sleeves and collar, pressing the glitter down until it shimmered and sparkled. I made sure to use plenty of that rare golden glitter she'd taken, layering it on thick so that it would be completely impossible to brush off. It was now a masterpiece of unremovable glitter art. I grinned as I imagined her reaction. She'd never be able to wear that cardigan again without being reminded of her habit of borrowing things. But I wasn't done yet. Part 2 of my plan was set to unfold later that day. Amber has a gym bag she always brings to school, and she loves to change into her workout clothes in the faculty lounge after school. So, I took another handful of my finest glitter and poured it right into her gym bag, making sure it would be the first thing she'd see when she opened it. I could already picture it, glitter flying everywhere, her horrified expression, and the mess it would leave all over her clothes, her hair, her face. This wasn't just petty, it was art. For the final touch, I left her a little note. I wrote it on a glitzy gold envelope, which I decorated with a few extra sprinkles of glitter. The note simply said, "So glad we can share the sparkles. Love, Lila." I left it on her desk, right where she'd find it the next morning. The day went by slowly as I waited for the moment of truth. Finally, the last bell rang, and I watched Amber stroll into the faculty lounge. I casually pretended to be organizing supplies nearby, but I had a perfect view of the whole scene. She opened her gym bag and bam! Glitter explosion. Her mouth fell open, and she let out a horrified shriek. Glitter coated her face, her hair, her clothes, and the entire floor around her. It was even on a few coworkers who happened to be nearby. But it got even better. Flustered and desperate to clean up the mess, Amber reached for her cardigan to cover up, only to realize it was transformed into a full-on glitter bomb. The look on her face was priceless, a mix of shock, anger, and complete helplessness as she realized her prized cardigan was now a sparkly, unwearable mess. She tried brushing it off, but the glue had set so well, it wasn't going anywhere. She was going to be the glitter teacher for a long time. The other teachers were trying to hold back laughter, but it was impossible. I could see people stifling smiles, their eyes dancing with amusement as they watched Amber struggle to brush off the endless sparkle, and to make it even sweeter. A few teachers muttered, "Well, guess that's what happens when you take other people's things." I didn't need to say a word. My glittery message had done all the talking for me, leaving a mark that would last much longer than any sticky note she'd ever left behind. In the days that followed, Amber tried everything to scrub away the glitter, but glitter is stubborn, and every time she thought she was rid of it, more would reappear, on her desk, in her hair, on her coffee mug. She'd created her own personal glitter trail that haunted her every move. She was now the official glitter bomb of the school. Did I feel bad? Not one bit. Every time I saw her face speckled with glitter, it reminded me that sometimes, people need a little sparkle to learn that boundaries aren't optional. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. This has been the Payback Vault, where justice glitters, karma shines, and every story reminds you why sometimes you just have to add a little sparkle.